Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that telephone number is 904-831-0917, 904-831-0917. So, Dr. Sheftall, let me ask you a question that I think is pertinent and timely. Robert Kennedy is in the CDC. Tell me something about it. I'm looking at a headline where Robert Kennedy had fired Susan Morantz, the one that was the director, and several have resigned as a result of it. So is Robert Kennedy on the right track? Is it good or is it bad? There are a lot of people, in fact, in the Democrats in the House want to fire him, want to remove him. They're against what he's doing. Talk with us about that.
Gosh, I've got so much to say about this because Robert Kennedy is a real character. He's a real interesting guy. You know, he was a Democrat. He's a Kennedy. He was a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat for years. And he made some kind of deal with Trump to come over to his side, and he might have been promised the HHS secretarial position when he did that. I don't know anything about that. That's all speculation. But he became the HHS secretary, which oversees the CDC, the FDA, and the NIH. So he is the boss of Dr. Bhattacharya over there at the NIH, Dr. Marty Makary at the FDA, and whoever's the interim director at the CDC right now after Morantz was booted out. One thing I like about Kennedy is that he is making these groups like the immunization committee, you know, show us proof that these vaccines work before he's going to allow them on the childhood vaccine schedule. And he's easing his way into the water here. If it was me, I would have dove in head first because a lot of these vaccines don't do anything. It's clear in the data. Now, what he has done recently, as you well know, but for the audience, he has changed some of the childhood vaccines. He's actually reduced it from 17 required vaccines only down to 11 now. And the 6 that he took off of the required are now what's called shared clinical decision-making status, which means the patient should discuss it with the doctor first, which makes all the sense in the world. Why would you, and then the American Academy of Pediatrics is suing him and the Department of HHS because they don't want it to be shared decision-making. Isn't that ridiculous?
They don't want to be a top-down dictated by that.
No, it makes me very upset that the American Academy of Pediatrics doesn't care about the health of children and wants the doctor to discuss with the parents whether the vaccine is useful or not. They want it to be required to be given to that child. I mean, what are doctors for if they can't discuss it with the parents? But anyway, the ones that have dropped to shared clinical decision-making status are COVID-19, which should never be given to a child. It shouldn't be given to anyone. They should take them off the market. And I've explained why many times. Influenza, which doesn't work. We know that. Hepatitis A and B, rotavirus, meningococcal vaccine, and respiratory syncytial virus. All of these vaccines do not have enough power behind their research to be allowed to be in the universally recommended vaccine category anymore. Okay? And I'm glad that Kennedy had the guts to take them off of there.
Absolutely.
And the force behind it is the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, which I watch every single one of their hearings. And Dr. Bhattacharya thought I would be a good person to be on that committee, but it never happened because I got cancer, darn it. But anyway, I watch every single one of their hearings, and Dr. Cooper-Vasser and Dr. Eldery made a beautiful presentation on the one in September, or was it October? But anyway, that disproved that some of these vaccines are working, and it talked about all the dangers of the COVID-19 vaccine, which I'll be glad to list to anyone that wants to know. But did you know that there is a class switching from IgG3 to IgG4 the more boosters you take? And IgG4 is associated with cancer. So that may be the etiology of why all these cancers are coming up after the vaccine started.
But let me interject a question. Let me give a statement first. Recently, when at the drug counter in Walgreens, 3 people in front of me, and each one of them, the one behind the counter in the pharmaceutical department, asked the question, would you like to get your flu shot and your COVID vaccine? Why would these pharmaceutical outlets, Walgreens, CVS, etc., be offering the vaccination with all that we know, all that's been revealed, all that's been uncovered? What is their motive? Is it simply money?
Yes. It's two things. It's money, but it's done in a subtle way. In other words, they want to support the pharmaceutical companies because their whole business is based on pharmaceuticals, right? Mm-hmm. So they're doing what the Big Pharma wants them to do, and they're selling vaccines on top of it. So they're getting the $80 or whatever reimbursement from the government when they give a free flu shot or whatever they're doing. So it's partially for money, but it's very upsetting because, we've proved these things don't work. The COVID-19 vaccine is harmful. You'd be better off injecting sterile water into your arm.
That's right. Absolutely. A couple of other questions that I've got on my mind in relationship to this that we're discussing today.
Can I just throw in one thing,
yes,
Doctor?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's all right.
Because I love your questions, but I want the public to know that the American Academy of Pediatrics is suing the Department of Health and Human Services and Robert Kennedy for putting some of these childhood vaccines in the shared clinical decision-making category.
Explain that again to our listeners, shared chemical decision.
All right, shared clinical decision. That means that the doctor and the parents discuss
They can discuss it
before the child gets injected. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not good for that particular child. Whereas before, everything was recommended and mandatory.
Now,
go to school.
I've got a question with that.
Nowadays, they get to discuss it with the doctor first.
During the apex
But
of
the
COVID,
American Academy of Pediatrics sued them to stop that. Mm-hmm. Isn't that amazing?
Yes. Well, here's the point that I make with that, my question in my mind. During the course of the apex of the COVID pandemic, doctors, medical associations were rewarded financially for simply saying, would you like to have the COVID shot? Those that would say yes, then, the doctors and the medical association received another stipend from Big Pharma. So is it possible today that the doctors will recommend that, even though it's a shared decision, that the doctors will recommend to the parents, yes, I think you need that because of their financial gain?
For the same reason, money and supporting the pharmaceutical company. Industry. But Pastor Youngblood, did I ever show you the Anthem bribery scheme for getting family practitioners and HMO doctors to vaccinate their patients? How much extra money they made in Kentucky because of that?
Share that.
Well, I just explained it to you. Mm-hmm. There were doctors in Kentucky that were getting $250 extra per patient for injecting these things.
Yes.
And they made $500,000 extra that 1 year. These are family practitioners that only make $220,000 or something.
Briefly, let's close out with this, Dr. Sheftall. Okay. Your book, Sanction, the COVID Murders.
Yeah, it's
and
all
your
in
other
there,
book.
by the way.
All of this information is there.
It's in there.
These two books, ladies and gentlemen, can be found. Go to conservative.edu, scroll down to the bookstore. We have them in the Conservative University bookstore, and we'd be delighted to have you go online, purchase it. I think it is so informative. I'm just absolutely intrigued by the wealth of information that you have in these books that I believe every listener, this is just my opinion, you might disagree, I believe every listener needs a set of these books. The one that is Sanctioned, the COVID Murders, and the other is Heroes and Villains, the COVID-19 book of list. It's two books, I believe, that based on where we are, where we've been, and what we're now being told, that there will be another major pandemic. I believe you need these in your hands. That is conservative.edu. Scroll to the bookstore. Order these two books. Ladies and gentlemen, we're thankful that you joined us today on Let's Face the Issues. Looking forward to meeting you once again as we face the issues.